weekend, and the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour present the championship round finals of the Claremore Classic. Today we travel 13 miles east of Tulsa to the Cedar Lanes in Claremore, Oklahoma, site of the Claremore Classic. Hello, everybody. I'm John Neighbor, along with me, Leila Wagner. And today we have 5 athletes vying for this week's title in the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. In number 5 position, Renee Fleming. The viewers might not have seen her in a while.
No, they haven't, John. Renee Fleming has not made a telecast in just under 3 years. But that particular event, she went all the way from the number 5 position to win the title in Ashland, Kentucky. Something to look forward to watching in this player. If the match gets close, she will not look at the scoreboard. She'll have no idea if she needs to have to mark in the 10th to win the match.
In the first matchup, she'll be going against our number 4 seed, Stacy Ryder, a woman who's got something to prove.
Well, she does. She is really trying to get the monkey off her back. 7 years on tour, she's still looking for her first singles title. She does have 2 national doubles titles, but she has not failed. She has not fared very well out here by herself. She has only won 2 out of 12 matches on the telecast.
The winner of that battle will meet number 3. Leanne Barrett, Madam Consistency on the tour this year.
Well, she is. She is leading right now in points, in earnings, in average on our tour. She is the forerunner for Player of the Year.
Of course, number 2 right now is Tammy Turner. Her first year as a pro. She's someone worth watching.
Well, she is, and we predicted her to be the Rookie of the Year in '94, and she's well on her way. 4 tournaments, 4 cashes, a very determined young player.
And whoever survives those 4 will meet our top seed at the end of the position round, Michelle Mullen.
Well, 2 of the last 3 events have been won by the top seed. Michelle Mullen has won the last 3 times she has been in the championship match.
So far on the tour this year, all 3 contests have seen the number 5 position go all the way to the championship match. Let's see who is going to win this first bout. Renee Fleming and Stacy Ryder. Now, Stacy will be going first from lane 19.
Stacy actually had the option, John, whether to start or finish this match. She has determined that she would like to start it. Therefore, she'll finish on lane 20. It is my prediction right now that she has a better shot on lane 20 than she does on 19.
And they all fell down. First mark, first match, first game. She gets 10. Fleming, a 39-year-old born in the Philippines. Came over here a few years back.
Actually entered the United States at the age of 18. She said she started bowling at 19, so it didn't take her but 1 year to decide that bowling wasn't something that she enjoyed doing.
Okay, she left one up on the left side.
Coming in a little high, leaving the 4-pin. She still has 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and her mother are still in the Philippines right now. She says, I have a sister, though, in Ashland, Pennsylvania.
Renee was leading until the last block of qualifying.
She made a big move there around the 4th round. It was the 2nd round of match play. She averaged 234 for her 8 games, won all 8 matches. She moved from 5th to 1st, and then she fell back down to 5th in the last round of match play.
And Renee picks up the spare.
Renee Fleming is another player on tour very similar to Debbie McMullen that has extremely late timing. She takes a 5-step approach, but usually you would move the ball on the 2nd step. Right here in the 3rd step is where Renee is starting to move the ball. As you can see here now, she has very strong upper body strength. She is able to push the ball through, or I should say pull the ball through. She likes a condition where she has a little hold, little oil in the center of the lane. And her match play record, 17-7. This actually got her to the telecast because 2 players in the 6th and 7th position this week outscored both Stacy Ryder and Renee Fleming, but they won more matches.
So she left 2 pins in the 2nd. She has 18 in the 1st. Her daughter Sabrina joins her in the background there.
16-year-old Sabrina.
Used to be a bowler, but gave it up for a while.
That's right. They bowled also as a hobby. She has a son, James, who is 14, who was unable to be here tonight. Renee, the 1989 Robbie Award winner. The Robbie Award is given to a player that most exemplifies the image of women's professional bowling. And Renee is just a very, very nice lady to compete against. She's always up. She never shows her temper.
Well, coming off of Fleming's open frame, Stacy gets her second mark. I talked with her earlier. She was heading for a 280-point position round match until she got sidetracked.
Going into the ninth frame, I was shooting 280, and all of a sudden I went up there and left a 710 in the pocket. And my first instincts were, oh boy, here we go. But I told myself to get one pin and go on to the next frame. You could still strike out to force her to get the first one in the 10th. And I went out and struck out, and Diana, fortunately for me, just hit the first one in the 10th. And before, I probably would have kicked the approach when I left the 710, but I tried to change my attitude this year and go out and be positive, and it actually helped me.
That was Diana Teeters that dropped to 6th place, just missed the telecast. So Stacy Ryder now has the 18-5-1 match play record at this tournament.
And something that is very true out here, John, is in any sport, but bowling is very mental. And Stacy Ryder has proved it. If you can overcome that type of a game and really excel at your mental game, you can be a very dominating player out here.
This will be a test of Fleming's concentration to shake off that open frame and get back into it.
Renee was in 14 events last year, only cashed 6 times, really had thoughts about retiring, but she said, my heart's still in it. I still want to be out here competing. And so far this year, she's done very well. She has cashed in 3 of her 4 events.
Dead center on the 1 leaves 2 pins standing. There's 22 pins back at the start of this frame.
Not feeling very comfortable on the lanes right now. She's come up a little high. She left the 4 pin. First shot on lane 20. Now she came up a little higher. So she did not exactly make the adjustment the correct way. Definitely does not have the hold in the center of the lane that she had yesterday morning when she bowled very well.
Hurry.
And she gets them both. 5-9 go down. She takes the spare in the 3rd. It's interesting. Her left arm stays very idle.
Well, it does, and we talked to her about that last night. She said, you know, nobody really ever taught me how to bowl. I just basically was self-taught, and I didn't know any differently. And your left arm's basically your balance arm, and apparently she doesn't need it.
You can see Renee now working on the spare in the 4th.
Renee's highest finish in 94 so far has been 14th. I mentioned she cashed in 3 tournaments, but she's been right in the middle of the pack, 14th in Alexandria.
Hurry, hurry.
And she gets them all. So Renee Fleming strikes in the 4th. We'll be back with more action here at the Claremore Classic. Don't go away, folks. Welcome back to the Claremore Classic. Stacy Ryder in the 4th frame working on a spare. And they all fall down.
And as I predicted, lane 20 is the better of the 2 lanes for Stacy. She has basically flushed both shots on lane 20, so she knew that that's where she wanted to bowl her 10th frame. Stacy coming from a family that bowls. She says she currently bowls with her dad in league, and I know her dad has been very instrumental in her career. Dale Ryder has been her coach.
Stacy has 7 300 games in her career. And another strike in the 5th. That's 2 in a row for her. 32 pin advantage at this point in the contest.
And Renee Fleming really needing the strike here in the 5th frame to cut Stacy's lead down to 22. And keep any type of pressure on Stacy, or else Stacy's going to run away with this match.
Come on, come on.
So sorry the 8 didn't fall.
And she was yelling for it to carry, trying to go for the light wall shot. Now there she made the adjustment on lane 20. In the second, in her first frame, she left the 4-pin. In the third frame, she went high, left the 3-6. That time she made the adjustment, most likely a little bit left with her feet, brought her target maybe aboard right with her eyes, and she came up light. So she is playing around here on lane 20, making subtle adjustments.
She picks up the 8, takes the spare. May not look like it now, but things are looking up for Renee Fleming compared to the past years.
Well, around, but I've been bowling, but I haven't been doing that well on the tour. So this year, and my sponsor said this is going to be a new year for me. So, and I'm doing better this year because I cashed what? I made the final 3 out of 4 so far in one show. So, and it's been a long time since I made the TV show. So it's my turn.
And she mentioned Ken Urban, or she mentioned her sponsor. She told me she wanted to thank her sponsor, Ken Urban, for sticking behind her in the past couple years. Obviously, it's easy to take on a player when they're doing well, but it's really nice when a sponsor sticks with you when the times are tough, too.
Absolutely right. Working on 2 in the 6th frame. Stacy's going for the 3rd strike here.
Stacy's average on the television pair was only 197 for the 2 games versus Renee Fleming, who averaged 220. But as you can see, the difference a day makes. Stacy Ryder has definitely figured out lane 20. 19 looks pretty good now as well. As that's her 3rd strike in a row. She has the lead now by 42 pins. Stacy works as a secretary for a temp agency when she's at home. At one point in time last year, she was about ready to give the tour up as well and take on a full-time job, but she said no. Again, another player whose heart is in it and wanted to stay out here to compete.
And that's 4 in a row for Stacy Ryder, increasing her lead. We'll be back with more of this first match in the Claremore Classic when we continue from Claremore, Oklahoma. The championship round finals of the Claremore Classic are being brought to you by Scalpicin, the scalp medicine that stops deep scalp itch. And by Bud Light. If you want a great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. Renee Fleming is 52 pins back, working on a strike. Missed the head pin, left 5 of them standing. No help there.
John, when you're very late in timing, this is a prime reason why it's critical to keep your arm swing and your footwork in time. And Renee was unable to get that ball through to the left because she was so late with her timing. She was hitting the line. Her ball was still behind her. She was not able to pull the ball through. Someone with late timing really has to be exact at all times. They have to be consistent. We're going to take a look at our first shot and just see when I talk about how late she really was. Now, in her 3rd step, she gets the ball moving, but she's already at the line. Her ball is now coming through, and she just loses it. She gets very off balance and is unable to really get the leverage to get the ball up to the head pin or get the proper rotation on the ball.
So Fleming with 111 pins down by the end of the 7th frame, working on an open frame in the 8th. She's pretty much out of this match.
Right now, she could only shoot 201, but Stacy Ryder is really bowling well at a 230 pace, and you're right, that pretty much locked it up.
But if you're going to have a lot of open frames, it's just as well to get them all out of the way at once, don't you think?
I have to laugh at one of Renee Fleming's bios is that she is a member of the Price is Right Game Show Hall of Fame. And I said, what is the Price is Right Hall of Fame? And she said, well, I overbid by the most of any person that has ever been on The Price is Right, she overbid an item by the most amount of money. And I guess Bob Barker had a pretty good time with that one, as he gave her a lot of ribbing.
But she won the car.
But she did make it up. Eventually, she made it up onto The Price is Right. She won a car, and came out to be a success story. But she is not a member of the Bowling Hall of Fame yet. But she has a different Hall of Fame to her credit.
Stacy Ryder's string of strikes ends at 4 in the 8th frame. She leaves 3 standing.
Averaging 212 for the tournament. Has gone well beyond that this game.
Stacy enjoys a 79-pin lead with 2.5 frames remaining.
And she has just increased her career win-loss record to 3-10, and she will face Leanne Barrett in her next match.
So with that spare, pretty well locks up the match for Stacy Ryder. Renee Fleming finishes it out in 5th place. When we come back, we'll have a little tip from Leila. We'll talk about the outside of the ball. Welcome back, everybody. On the left of your screen, Stacy Ryder, through her victory in the first matchup, gets to meet Leanne Barrett, already victorious in 1 pro event this year. She's got 15 titles to her career, and she's going to start us off on lane 19.
It'll be interesting to see if Leanne Barrett can come out and make a decent shot in her first frame. In the past, she says, I try to make too perfect of a shot. I usually throw it too far right. You usually see me leave a 2-8-10 or something of a lighter hit, but look at this. She's overcome it, and I can tell you right now what's going through her mind is, hey, I just threw a great shot on my first shot, and this is going to set the tempo for the rest of the game for that lady.
Turning up the heat early. Now Stacy Ryder will make her attempt. Stacy likes to collect baseball cards as a hobby. Began bowling 20 years ago. She turns 26 later this month. Boom! Punch and counter punch. Answers the strike of Barrett with a strike of her own.
Really starting this tour at a very young age, as you mentioned. She's currently 25. She's been 7 years on the tour. I believe she came out when she was around 18, almost 19 years old. Looking for the double to try to keep some pressure on Leanne. Player with a lot of television experience, Leanne Barrett. Stacy Ryder has her hands full in this match.
And they all fall on that one. 2 in a row for Stacy Ryder here in the second match. We talked with Leanne a little bit about the impact of intimidation on the hardwood. And she tends to not want to make a big deal about her consistency or her dominance. She's kind of shy about it.
Yes, she is. Very nice player. Really does not take anything for granted. She's got a lot of motivation right now. She said, in the next 3 years, I am motivated to bowl well. Leanne Barrett's approach, she takes a 4-step approach, actually gets the ball moving down. Almost looks like she's going to attack the pins, but here she is at the top of her swing. She'll start coming down here shortly. Excellent follow through. Again, that extended reach. Tries to get the ball long through the head.
The 7-pin just taking a dive, and she makes 3 in a row.
Stacy Ryder currently 13th in points, 14th in earnings. Again, a light wall shot from Leanne Barrett. The head pin off the wall, comes over, hits the 4. 4 takes out the 5. That was for the turkey. And both players are using the reactive resin balls that Dell and myself were talking about. But there still is a place for urethane. A few of the blocks, I know the players came out, and especially the morning blocks, when there was a lot of fresh oil. The back end, the last 15 feet of the lane was really hooking. They did not need that extra drive that the reactive resin gives you. They wanted more of an even roll. They chose to throw urethane. And at times you'll see players still drilling up the plastic balls for their spare balls. Matter of fact, there's a couple of them down there on the rack right now for spares. But with the ladies continually throwing strikes, we might not see those used.
That's right. It's been a flawless match so far. 7 strikes, and we're now in the 4th frame for Barrett.
Looking for number 4 to stay up with Stacy, and she demolishes the rat.
Championship week's coming up on ESPN beginning Saturday, March 5th. 33 games, 26 conference championships. The NCAA Selection Special on ESPN. So let's see if Barrett can keep the string going. This is like who's going to blink first.
Well, I'm seeing shades of the match we saw just a couple weeks ago with Leanne Barrett and Wendy McPherson Papanos. 279, John, to 278. Leanne Barrett was the victor in that match.
Wow. This is some great bowling going on.
Stacy Ryder says, why do I have to run into Leanne right now? Here I just shot a 232 game, and I am now up against someone else that is throwing as many strikes as I am. Oh, ringing 10 as the 6-pin just flies around the 10-pin. Excellent shot.
Still 4 in a row with a 9 to follow. Not a bad start for the match.
Stacy choosing to pick up a plastic bowling ball to shoot her spare. This ball will not hook like the reactive resin balls.
What happened on that first ball?
Well, actually, this is really a nice shot. She's playing right between the right around the 13th board. That's between the 2nd and 3rd arrow. The ball goes out to about the 9th board, makes a nice break back, but the 6-pin just flies around the 10. It's just the difference. It's a minute difference in the entry angle to the pocket. It's something you cannot adjust for when you're ringing the 10s. Now that ball there, she actually got off her hand a little early, rotated it too much, pulled her arm to the left, and you saw the results. The ball went left.
Well, the tiny mistake in the 5th frame put her 11 pins back, and now with another mistake in the 6th.
Leaving the 3-10, she's going to try to put the ball right between the 3-pin and the 10-pin. At least pick up the spare, stay close.
And that's got to hurt.
And I think she actually thought that she was going to get that. The ball appeared to be making the move, but it just slid.
So now Barrett in the driver's seat. Will she relax and let down at all? Let's find out.
Leanne Barrett, growing up in the junior program in Fremont, California, under Don Hillman, bowled against other players in juniors like Dee Dee Davidson, Wendy McPherson, Kim Kennedy. They all played together in junior ranks, and they are all out here now playing together in the professional ranks.
So Barrett's got 6 strikes in a row and a 34-pin lead. She enters the 7th frame. Nice string going there, Leanne.
Earlier, averaging 251 on this pair, so this pair has been good to her.
And she keeps it going.
She has the first 7 strikes right now. 44-pin lead, Stacy Ryder.
So as long as Barrett continues to strike, we'll stick with this action. Ryder with 44-pin deficit as Barrett is contemplating her next move. Oh, almost back on track, leaves the 8.
Well, Stacy's saying right now, well, if anything else can go wrong, what can I do? I've hit the pocket 2 times in a row on lane 20. Solid 8-pin. Watch the ball here. Goes right. 5-pin's supposed to take out the 8. It goes straight back. what are you going to do? You're going to shake your head, pick it up, and go on to the next frame.
There's no shame in losing to Barrett in this state of affairs.
What you say is, just if I could have carried, though, the 10 pin, the 8 pin, maybe I could have kept a little pressure on her, but the match is really not over. There's 3 frames left. Stacy Ryder could go to the wall for 246. Meanwhile, Leanne Barrett would have to continue to mark in the next 3 frames, and stranger things have happened. Four-time Southern California All-Star team member. Stacy Ryder started bowling at the age of 6.
And that one gets her back on track. So she strikes in the 8th. We see if Barrett can continue her winning ways. She has 7 in her string, looking for numbers 8 and 9.
Leanne actually checking the rack. She has allowed 2 re-racks per game. She saw that 8 pin that Stacy left last game. She says maybe that was the rack. It was a pretty good hit. So we're going to get a chance to take a look at the rack, see if we see anything a little off spot. Well, actually, yeah, it looks pretty good, but you know, you never know what a player can see down there from that angle.
So Barrett on her way, hoping for her 18th career 300 game.
She is one of only 4 women to ever roll back-to-back 300 games, and she did that in Alexandria, Virginia.
And she's certainly one step closer. 2 tosses away from 10 consecutive frames.
And with the first 8 strikes. Leanne Barrett won earlier this year in Alexandria, Louisiana. Currently, like I mentioned in the opening, first in all our events.
And she's now to the final frame with a perfect string going. 9 strikes in a row for Leanne Barrett. She'll have to sit it down for a while. For Stacy Ryder has 2 more frames in her game.
Right now, Stacy Ryder's probably not going to take too much time. She'll just get out of Leanne's way. There's never been a player to shoot 300 on a telecast. We did have the opportunity to see Alida Sill and her partner bowl 300 in the doubles. Lori Soto was her partner in that event. They shot 300 together, but no individual has ever bowled 300 in the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Paula Drake came the closest from nearby Tulsa, Oklahoma. She shot 299.
Ooh, heartbreak. Oh, and who was the other bowler in that matchup? The 299 victim.
That was me.
You. That's right.
That's right. Matter of fact, we had the first 8, and I missed. I must say I choked that one. And
how can you say it's a choke after 8?
Because you throw a bad frame. I mean, you really didn't release the ball well. You did not, you know, throw a good shot. So I consider it choking in the 8th frame.
Well, a smile out of Stacy Ryder. She gets a strike in her first shot in the 10th frame. And there's a woman who's definitely got to be thinking about the implications of what's coming up for her in her final frame here in this match.
Well,
Leanne Barrett has 9 straight.
Tammy Turner shot 300 earlier this week, the only player to do so. She picks it up, a respectable 216, but she ran into a racehorse by coming up against Leanne Barrett. And like I predicted in the opening, what a match we will see coming up next between Leanne Barrett and Tammy Turner. 2 very powerful players on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour.
So Stacy Ryder will sit down with a 216. certainly nothing to be ashamed about, but everyone is waiting to see if Leanne Barrett can do something that's never been seen before on television for a women's pro bowler.
Position before. We talked about her shyness. She got up there, really did not take much time, but I'd venture to say Leanne was a little nervous on that shot.
I was nervous just watching her. There's the first smile we've seen in a long time.
Well, spare here, followed up by a strike. She's in the 277 range.
And so a sad finish to the 10th frame. We'll be back to talk to Leanne when our coverage of the Claremore Classic continues after this. Welcome back to the Claremore Classic in Claremore, Oklahoma. Cedar Lanes, 24 of them, all wood. Third matchup now. Tammy Turner's going to start us off on lane 19. Possibly Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year in the same year.
But right now, she's up against Leanne Barrett, who is that forerunner and Player of the Year. Opening shot coming up a little high. Leaves the 410.
Now, Leila, Tammy watched Barrett just miss a 300 game. Does that have any impact at all on Turner, do you think?
Well, I think it does, since Tammy is pretty inexperienced out here on the tour right now. She has to think, oh my gosh, Leanne is so lined up. Of course, Leanne has to be one of Tammy Turner's idols. It's one of these players that she actually watched in the past few years, coming through saying, you know, I want to accomplish what Leanne has accomplished in her career, and to see her come out and just throw nothing basically but strike, it has to be intimidating. You know, you've got to come out and excel.
Well, certainly the strike has to be some intimidation factor. We talked with Leanne Barrett about such the item.
Can intimidate people, I think, but because some people intimidate me just the way they act, you know. I mean, if they outwardly show their confidence, but I think the way I feel about intimidating people is just bowl, and your bowling can intimidate them, you know. Because I never really feel comfortable with, like, slapping things off in people's faces, you know, and going, you know, getting all into them, so.
She doesn't need to play mind games. She just plays the lane. Oh, well, the string has stopped at 1 here in the third match. But Leanne Barrett does have that faraway look in her eyes. I mean, she's not trying to psych anyone out.
No, she's just out there doing her own thing. She's, you know, very down to earth. Just, you know, says, I'm out here to bowl, and just a super nice person altogether. Solid 9-pin, bad break here. This is the result of the high reactive resin bowling equipment. Breaks sharply in the back end. Normally the balls take out the 9, but in this case her ball just continued left, did not take it out. A real break here for Tammy Turner. Extra deep breath. Tammy had a lot of problems with her spares this week, she said. It'll be interesting to see what happens this evening. She went to a new spare ball.
Come on.
Tammy's nickname on the tour, the Taminator. She taminated those pins in the second frame.
I mentioned Tammy shot 300 game this week, also an 8-17 series. Tammy, beautiful style, 5-step approach, very aggressive. Takes her first step, then actually comes down, gets the ball moving in her second step. Here in her third step, she is right at the top of her backswing in her fourth. Look at this position. Very high backswing, will come through. Very strong player, perfect position. Look at the low knee bend, the extension. Really a great hand. Look at her hand there. It was very open. The urethane release that you often hear about. And high games this week. Leanne Barrett shot 299.
And Turner beat it by 1.
And trying to make up some of those pins that she lost. She cut Leanne Barrett lead to just 1 pin. 2-time Lynn Shute Player of the Year, was also the 1991 Bowling Writers Association Bowler of the Year. In just a short 8 years on tour, she has 15 career titles.
She counters with a strike. Wednesday, inside the PGA Tour at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Get the inside story on the world of golf. For those of you who like the senior athletes, well, just wait a day. Because on Thursday, we go inside the senior PGA Tour. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific.
And really could have had the first 3 in a row, but solid 9-pin here on this lane 19 in the second. Kept her from having them.
Ooh.
And now a flat 10. The ball really not driving hard enough. Leaves the 6-pin right in the channel. Leanne playing 19. Right around the 20th board at 15 feet. Playing a very deep inside line. Her ball's going out to the 11th board around her break point, about 30 feet. And then it starts to make break back. So she's swinging around 9 boards, switching balls for spare. Again, that plastic ball. Lower friction, will not grab the lane, will not hook. The 1992 Bowling Writers Association Amateur Player of the Year, Tammy Turner, made a telecast in the fall last year. The Samstown Invitational.
Talking about 300 games, Tammy Turner picked up her 300 on a home camera.
You can see here March 2nd, as it's printed in a couple days ago. We'll get a chance to look up here at the scoreboard. That was the final
It's official,
strike.
folks. Applause, applause all the way around. It's nice to have a record of that. Relief, folks. She won't get 300 in this game, but she's certainly putting a string together now. Got 4 going. She's up by 19 pins. Leanne Barrett will be taking her turn in the 5th frame.
Well, I mentioned this was the match to watch, and it really is, as Leanne Barrett has not missed the pocket. Tammy with 4 in a row. 2 very strong, powerful players playing an inside line, yet getting the balls to really hit in the back end.
So Barrett counters, has 80 pins down in the 4th and a strike in the 5th.
As high scoring as this match may seem to be going, earlier this week, Leanne Barrett beat Tammy Turner, but the score was only 201 to 188. As Leanne Barrett takes a re-rack, again, she's allowed 2 per game. Working as a sales rep for the Tony Westlake Bowling Supply when she's off the tour. She says, I really have enjoyed my job. Right now, trying to get a double. Cut her deficit to 9, and she does.
A triple rebound works for Leanne Barrett. We'll be back with more of the Claremore Classic as you look at the prize money available. Don't go away. Welcome back, John Neighbor and Leila Wagner's. We're watching Tammy Turner. She leads by 9. She's working on a string of 4 in the 6th frame.
Tammy's really had some excellent coaching, John. She was the 1993 Team USA member, also a 95 Team USA member, but gave it up to bowl on the Pro Tour. Hank Boomershine right now, Tammy's fiance, is currently her coach. She also bowled for West Texas State, along with Carolyn and Kathy Dorn, who are now on the tour with her.
Well, Coach, whatever you're doing, keep it up. She's got 5 in a row.
Well, I know he drove 6 hours today to be here for her tonight. Uh-oh.
Ooh, in the channel. What a shame.
And you heard her say, come on. Really an error here. Take a look and see what happens. Could be a timing problem. Gets a little bit quick. Does not get the leverage. Watch here, the ball just basically is going to fall off her hand. When you get a little fast with your feet and unable to get it through, the ball falls off. She hit the center of the lane, and it just slid. Trying to pick up the spare. She does it. Look at that. And a chance to look at the ball coming off her hand. Basically nothing on it. Got off her hand too quickly. This usually results because your feet get too fast big break for Leanne Barrett. Right now, Leanne trails by 9. A strike here. She can take the lead by 1. Oh.
Ooh, leaves the 10.
What we might be seeing right now, as Leanne had mentioned, the lanes seem to be opening up, but now the conditioner is starting to carry down. Leanne's not quite getting the hit in the back end. Watch this as the ball hits a little bit flat. 5-pin shoots front of the 8-pin. The 6-pin sits into the channel, but the 8-pin falls at the last minute. Oh my.
Ooh.
If anyone can make a plastic ball hook, it's Leanne Barrett.
Well, I shouldn't be laughing, I guess. An open frame and
No.
7. That puts her 22 pins down in the 8th frame. You just have to shake those off. We were talking with them earlier, talking about knowing what to do and not being able to execute it.
That's right. Leanne Barrett right now trailing by 22 as a possible 227 game going. Right now, Tammy Turner shooting around the 220 pace, too. If she can catch another double. So this match is far from over. Tammy mentioned to me last night, John, that she's really learned a lot about the tour out here, and she said that she's learned she's got to change some hand positions at times. Even though she has cashed week after week, there's certain things that she needs to learn in order to stay on top of it.
So both bowlers with a strike in the 8th. Turner with a 22-pin advantage.
Big frame here in the 9th, trying to catch the double, keep the pressure on Leanne Barrett.
Ooh. Leaves the 10-pin, an unfortunate turn of events, because now Leanne Barrett working on a strike in the 8th.
Right now, Leanne can shoot 227. Tammy Turner can shoot 229. So basically, whatever Leanne does in the 10th, if she catches this one here in the 9th, Tammy Turner is going to have to match her.
She goes Brooklyn. They all come down. Strike in the 9th. That's 2 in a row. Yes, the collar feeling a little bit tight right about now.
Actually turning that ball early. She had been playing around the 20th board out to the 11th. That ball only made it to the 14th board. So you could see she played a much tighter line. Probably not intentional. Got around it a little too much. Really tried to juice it up. She got the break, though, by going Brooklyn. She says, hey, that makes up for that solid 9-pin I left earlier. Again, whatever Leanne Barrett does right here in the 10th, Tammy Turner has to match her.
The battle of experience versus talent. And she goes center on the head pin, leaves 3 standing. 2. 1 actually fell just then.
Actually, it appears Leanne was making the adjustment, moving a little farther left, but she got a little earlier hook in the front part of the lane than she had been getting last game. The conditioner breaking down, meaning it's going away. Players had to get farther in left. I guess Leanne she was making the subtle adjustments, just did not get far enough in there. Picks up the spare nicely. Strike here gives her 205. She's going to force Tammy Turner to at least get 9 pins on the first ball.
Now, is Turner making the mental calculations, the mathematical pins required? Or she's just trying for that strike? That's all she can do, right?
That's right. She's just going to get up there. This is where experience plays an important part. She needs to get up there and just try to make the best shot she can.
Well, that conditioner taking its turn on Leanne Barrett. Final score for Barrett, 202.
Right now, Tammy Turner needs 7 pins on this shot or better, and she's the winner of this match.
Looks great to me.
That's it, folks. She will advance to meet Michelle Mullen. Of course, she's not over yet. She gets 2 more balls in this frame.
Tammy Turner finished second at the Samstown Invitational, qualified second there. But in the championship match, she lost to Robin Romeo, 194 to 191.
As an amateur, nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all. And it was a big purse in that particular event. I think she walked away with well over $12,000. Tank Boomershine looking on. Says, hey, Tammy, forget about the shot in the channel. At the end of this match, she can laugh about it, shake it off, and say, it's a new game, next game.
So she takes 20 pins in the 10th frame for a final score of 219. She defeats Barrett by 17 pins. We'll be back with the final matchup. Michelle Mullen will meet the Taminator when we return to Claremore. We're back with more coverage of the Claremore Classic just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tammy Turner will start us off on lane 19. Just defeated Leanne Barrett by 17 pins. Where we started frame number 1.
2 players with 2 different starts in their careers. Michelle Mullen coming up next did not start in a junior program, which is very unusual for a professional player. Most of the professional players have started out in the juniors, but Michelle said, no, we used to just go on occasion with my grandfather. And Tammy Turner, on the other hand, did come up through the junior leagues. Michelle Mullen waiting for the re-rack right here.
While we're waiting for the re-rack, don't forget to join us next Friday for the AMF Ninja Challenge from Corpus Christi, Texas. And it'll be 11:30 Central Friday evening.
Michelle's opening shot a little wide, and I mentioned Leanne Barrett often came out and opened up with a 2-8-10. Well, Michelle Mullen has something even a little harder, a 2-4-8-10. Switching balls, wasting no time. She's going to give it all she can.
Ooh, left 2 standing. She was collegiate national champion in 1985. Bowled for the University of Illinois.
It really says a lot about the collegiate program right now, the Team USA program. These players gained a lot of experience in collegiate competition, a lot of maturity before they came out in the professional ranks. This is Michelle Mullen's 8th year on tour. She has 3 career titles. She recently became a coach for Team USA, which she's extremely excited about.
She likes teaching. She likes working with the young amateurs, and they learn from her. They're learning from one of the best. Tammy Turner, last Amateur of the Year in 1992, also a collegiate champion for West Texas State in 92.
She has 2 sisters, half-sister Brittany, who is only 3 years old, who I'm sure will try to follow up in big sister's footsteps. She says she hasn't started bowling yet, which is kind of unusual. I have Ryan, my 4-year-old, and actually Alex, my 2-year-old, now bowling. They do pretty well with their...
How heavy a ball can a 2-year-old pick up?
6 pounds, and he does it very well.
That's pretty good. And pins fall when they hit the 6 pounds.
Those little bumpers out there. And Tammy also has a sister, Jenny.
Come on.
And you're saying, come on. She's playing a very deep inside line, and this is why I talk about the powerful players on the tour today. They're able to get in that deep around the 4th arrow, coming at a different angle to the pocket, yet they're still able to carry and get out the 10s at most of the time.
And Tammy picks up the spare in the 3rd frame. She encountered a little illness earlier in the season, had to pull out once she made the finals. Still got some cash.
She did. The flu has seemed to be plaguing the ladies pro tour, as Stacy Ryder was suffering terribly yesterday, but was still able to bowl well enough to make it to the telecast. And you're right. I think Tammy Turner, they say, has started it a couple weeks ago.
Rookies. 2 pins left standing in the 3rd frame won't help Michelle Mullen, who's 21 pins down.
Michelle's coming in playing a very deep line, but what she has not experienced is the carry down, the conditioner carrying down, therefore not getting the big break in the back end that she may have seen earlier when she practiced. An adjustment she might want to make a little bit right, maybe 2 boards right with her feet.
So Michelle, the 29-year-old, picks up the spare. We talked with her earlier about her predictions for her future goals.
I'm just beginning my 8th year out on tour, and I feel as though the best is yet to come, and I just keep focusing on doing the best that I can. I feel like I'm getting better and better, and hopefully I'll come into my own, and if that's not already happening, and like I said, see the best yet.
An optimistic attitude, perhaps helped out by some of the reading she's been doing, some sports psychology books, self-help books, positive self-talk. It seems to be working. She qualified top of the pack at the end of the position round, and she gets a strike. So now Turner working on a spare, her 4th frame. And takes them all down.
You can see the revolutions that her ball has as it hits the pocket. That ball not sliding too far, but making the great break back to really carry. She's playing around the 17th board. The ball going out to about the 11th board. Here she really hits it. You can see the revolutions, how the ball is tilting right here. It hits its break point, takes a left turn. All 10 pins in the pit. And here's a look at bowler track. You can see exactly where she's hitting. 17 to 11, swinging about 8 boards. Perfect line.
And another strike ensures that she won't slip on that 31-pin lead for a while.
These 2 players played in the position round last night. Tammy Turner had the #1 position going into the last game, but she lost to Michelle Mullen, 268 to 225.
That was a great match.
Yes, Michelle put on the heat. Highest 1994 finish so far for Michelle, 11 in 2 events, the Lady Ebonite Classic and also the Alexandria, Louisiana Open.
Well, Michelle leaves the 4 here in the 5th frame.
You mentioned the reading that Michelle has done. She's really tried to master the game of bowling. She says that is one of her goals, really, is to just master this game. She feels she's at about a 75% level there.
Leala, why do you suppose Michelle is slipping in this game here? Should she change balls? Is it her position?
I'm sorry. Slipping as in not getting the ball to the head pin?
That's correct. She's not having a great
she's
match.
hitting the ball. She's the ball's coming up light. She's probably making some very subtle adjustments on lane 20. She has not gone high, so it's difficult to say what kind of adjustment she's making. She's really just expecting to get the ball to break a little more in the back ends, and it's not happening for her. Right there, oh, she got it, but the 4-9 almost stood. She got the little snap that she was looking for. The previous couple shots, she was a little deep maybe with her feet, sending the ball into the oil, into the conditioner a little too long. That type of moves, again, I was mentioning, she'd probably make a 2-board right adjustment with her feet, maybe 1 board with her target.
So she gets the spare in the 6th frame. So now Turner gets a chance.
And a big break here for Michelle Mullen. Appeared that she got lined up here on this shot as the ball comes in just a little bit high in the pocket. 9-pin out at the last minute. Meanwhile, though, this lady...
Ooh, nudges the 10, but it does not fall.
Switching balls to shoot the 10-pin. No problem.
So she picks up that spare. We asked Tammy Turner if she practices any sort of physical regimen while she's on the tour.
No, but after 4 weeks on tour, I think I should start immediately. I mean, definitely. I think that if you can just get yourself in shape and maybe have a little edge over the other girls, maybe have a little more stamina, and, when you're in better shape, your attitude's better. So that I think I need to work on as soon as this swing's over. I've already thought about it.
And Leila, you're right, or she's right. When you're sick, you just don't feel like you can do anything right.
Well, she's looking very strong right now, but the players out here, you know, it's a 42-game format, but by the time they bowl practice session, pro-ams, they're roughly bowling 75 games a week, and it does take its toll on the body. There's many times you feel like you're soaking in a hot bath just to loosen up those muscles. The better physical shape you're in, the more stamina you have, the better you can perform.
Mullen leaves the 10 in the 7th frame.
See where she's made the adjustments now. She is now in the pocket, a little bit light. She's afraid to make too drastic of a move because she does not want to get an overreaction. She knows that there's the dry boards to the right, and if she hits them too early, the ball's going to break too sharp onto the nose. So she is making the subtle adjustments, but they're just not quite enough right now.
So she picks up the spare here in the 10th frame. Basketball, college basketball here on ESPN. Number 5, North Carolina versus Duke. That'll be 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, live right here on ESPN. Great battle. Later tonight, Cameron Indoor Stadium, a difficult place for that tournament to take, or battle to take place. But we return now to Claremore. Michelle Mullen having to make some sort of progress now, otherwise the game was just sort of slipping out of reach, and she leaves a difficult split.
Really never being able to get lined up on this pair. She is getting a definite over-under type reaction with this ball. She moves in. She is able to get, there is a dry spot. Ball slides a little bit too much when she hits the oil. Hooks too much when she hits the dry. We saw it when she left the 4-9. She is fishing out there, but unfortunately, Tammy Turner has found the line as she has a 45-pin lead going into the 8th frame.
So we may be watching the first victory on the Pro Tour for this rookie, Tamara Turner, out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Her fiance may have made that 6-hour drive for a good reason. She gets the strike and a 55-pin lead at this point.
Really a player that can excel when it's her condition. As she mentioned that she learned a lot in the past few weeks when it was a grind out, things that she needed to do, but when the conditions like this, and she can almost strike at will. And look at this, she's getting pumped up now. She senses that this could be her first national title and coming in over only her 4th event of the year.
As a pro.
As a pro.
She leaves 1 in the 9th frame, so her string stops at 2. She'll probably put this one away.
But it's enough.
We can call her the winner here. $9,000, the winner's purse. That's all she needs.
And her sponsor, the same sponsor, as a matter of fact, that Renee Fleming has. Ken Urban will be, hey, he had 2 people in the top 5 this week. Good cash day for that sponsor. Michelle Mullen, on the other hand, really unable to get locked in, and it does seem to be an advantage for the number 2 player or the number 2 seed if she can win that match to get into the championship match. She had the lanes figured out, saw a little bit adjustment, what the lanes were doing. Michelle Mullen, on the other hand, sitting back in the wings, came on, had 6 balls to try to determine exactly what was going to happen.
Hey, Al, if you could personally choose your finish after the position round, would you want to be your first match in the first position at the end of the evening, or would you like to start a little earlier and warm up a bit?
Well, there's 2 thoughts there, John. Is first of all, being the top seed, you're always guaranteed 2nd place, always guaranteed a little bit more money. Now, if you want to guarantee me that I'm going to win that match as the number 2 seed, then I'll take that seed. But really, everybody would rather be the number 1 coming in. But the number 2 player definitely has an advantage because she's been on the lanes for a full game.
Well, Michelle in the 10th frame gets a strike, but it won't be enough to win it all. She will take 2nd place dollars home with her. And when you're single, you can use that money. Heck, even if you're married, you can always use the money. 8,300 games for Michelle Mullen in her past. High series of 825. She leaves 1 now.
Her last title came this past fall in the Brunswick Open in South Bend. She actually made 2 telecasts in the fall, and she said the reason the first telecast she did not fare as well is I was just happy to make it. I did not have the right attitude. I was not aggressive enough. She came back 2 weeks later, made the telecast, showed her aggressiveness, and won the event.
Well, 162 will be Mullen's final score. Tammy Turner, with 1 frame remaining, has the title in hand. And a lot of action, but leaves the 8-pin standing in the 10th.
Man, a very clean game. She was worried about her spares, but did not miss any in the 2 games that she bowled, as she is now going to shoot the 8-pin for a 220-plus game. Big smile to Hank. Carolyn and Kathy also sitting back there in her corner.
And a big ball to finish it out. Tammy Turner victorious. The fiancé makes a 6-hour drive for good reason. We'll take a short break, but we'll be back with more from Claremore, Oklahoma. Cedar Lanes, the site of the rookie, wins her first national title. The championship round finals of the Claremore Classic are being brought to you by Sports Cream, fast pain relief and no odor. And by Coast Deodorant Soap. That crisp, invigorating scent makes Coast the eye-opener. And so wonderful applause, deservedly so, for our winner, Tammy Turner. Congratulations, your first professional victory. And of course, does it feel any different than when you were an amateur?
Oh, a lot different. There's a lot more pressure you put on yourself.
Isn't that interesting? Well, of course, when you win, there's always a presentation. And to make that presentation, the manager of Cedar Lanes, Mike Widmar, why don't you go ahead and do that?
On behalf of the management and staff of Cedar Lanes Bowling Center, I'd like to present you with the 2nd annual Claremore Classic Championship Trophy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job. A pretty trophy for you. And of course, whenever you win the title and the trophy, something goes along with that. Brenda Marshall is the owner of Cedar Lanes, and she's got the nice check for you.
Tammy, congratulations from all of us. We're very proud that your first LPBT title was in Cedar Lanes in Claremore, Oklahoma, and I know it will be the first of many to come in the future. You're a wonderful bowler. You did an outstanding job this week, and it was a joy watching you.
Thank you. Thank you.
A very special presentation. We'll be back in just a minute to talk with Tammy ourselves. The Rookie of the Year, rookie on the tour. She wins her first title here. We'll be right back. .226 pins was all it took to win the championship bout. And Tammy Turner, congratulations. I'm sure Leala has some questions for you.
I do, John. Tammy, you're off on the sidelines. Your soon-to-be opponent has just thrown the first 9 strikes. What are you thinking?
I was extremely nervous. I actually asked one of my friends which lane should I have her finish on, the one she didn't hit as flush as the others. So, but I was a little nervous.
And the other question, I'm sure we all are dying to know, what happened on the channel ball?
Couldn't miss that. I got a little nervous and I got real fast, and my timing got off, and I turned the ball early in my swing. So.
And also, your first title, did you think it was going to come this soon in your pro career?
Oh, no. No, my goal each week is just to get a check or make the top 24, so this is an incredible bonus.
Or do a little bit better, and you couldn't have done any better tonight. Congratulations.
Tammy, earlier you mentioned to us that you felt like you needed a little physical regimen to keep the endurance going on the tour. Have you changed your mind now?
No, I still think I need to start working out and get a little more stamina.
You encountered some difficulty with the flu, pulled out of a tournament earlier this season. Obviously, it certainly hasn't hurt your game here.
Well, I was feeling a little unconfident coming into this tournament because I had to drop out in Alexandria, and I didn't make the cut last week, so I had to overcome some negative feelings before I started this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, just over your right shoulder are 4 banners. Do you know next week you have your own?
I'm glad it's over. For now, anyway.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing your banner up there real soon in the future.
Tammy, now what? You know, your first year on the tour, 4th event, you win the title. You expect the same from you rest of the year?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm just going to keep on following with my same attitude and just try to make good shots and make the cut.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations, Tammy Turner, your first professional victory. On behalf of my partner, Leila Wagner, I'm John Neighbors saying thanks for watching us here at the Cedar Lanes in Claremont, Oklahoma. Be sure to join us next week for the AMF Ninja Challenge, coming to you from Corpus Christi, Texas. That's 11:30 Central Time next Friday evening. Coming up next, get your clubs because we're going inside the Senior PGA.